Music.
ABK, yeah. What's your man Cole High? You reppin' CHI around these motherfucking niggas. Yeah. Y'all talk too much out there. For all you niggas that ain't with it, man, fuck y'all. Some ugly shit right here. They gon' hate to see us together, but we looking at motherfuckers like whatever. Get your tough guy on, I know you ain't never shot shit in your life, and you won't ever get the status you looking for. You can't do no better. I'm a stick-up man, and I'm working my number. I'm just too close for you niggas, I get at you whenever. I let you go one time, but this time I won't let you pass. Make you suffer, motherfucker, up and thump on his ass. Y'all mouth about it, I'm the real deal. A bunch of for cash, you see why people think I'm so bad. Call me Cole, huh? Rap anywhere I go, motherfucker, pull your home card. PDB gon' leave your family scarred, ma. So don't never get hard and be quick to depart. I'm the head nigga in charge, you don't want me to get started. It's ugly, nigga, get you if you got it. My accuracy hit a moving target, now fuck it.
You talking too much, but you ain't saying nothing, homie. Making fast money, you ain't got nothing on me. You was born to hate, so you a hating ass, baby. We got that door over here, just at your old later. You moving too slow, we so much faster. Your money too low, we so much higher. Touching the stars, this is where we are. Making that money, making that money.
Yeah, easy does it. We get it easy, cousin. And I never said I was when I never wasn't. So many niggas say they did when they never done it. And who the king of the shot? So many say they run it. I don't talk much, but when I speak up, I talk bucks. Big dude with a soft touch. Ask a bitch about me. Told at an early age, get that bitch about me. Thoroughbred, hustlers and killers round me. Whole squad getting money. Whole squad looking sunny. Any mob can get it. If the squad's on dummy, stress that. And now I better your best, cause I'm the best kept. I stay ahead of the rest, that's on my first step. Don't get ahead of yourself, just take a deep breath. Spit truth, no decept. Listen there, reset. Schooling you lames, no recess.
You talking too much, but you ain't saying nothing, homie. Making fast money, you ain't got nothing on me. You was born to hate, so you a hating ass, baby. We got that door over here, just at your old later. You moving too slow, we so much faster. Your money too low, we so much higher. Touching the stars, this is where we are. Making that money, making that money.
I'm the greatest to ever do it, bitch. You haters the greatest at never doing shit. You hear them horns, nigga. You been warned, nigga. No silence and secrecy, you been sworn, nigga. Fresh out the pussy like a newborn, nigga. Steering wheel flow, I'm about to blow like a horn, nigga. I rep the low, a bunch of killers with cold high. When you hit a flow, that's truth killer and cold high. Fuck patience and waiting, nigga, we both God. This game oh so soft, we go so high. Not just I, damn it, my whole squad. Every day in this hell, I'm glad I know God. And I'm just speaking peace, I put that on my Jesus piece. I'm ripping beast to piece till I'm deceased. And me and Jesus meet. So fuck a demon, nigga, every day scheming, nigga. Yeah, my reality's what you dreaming, nigga.
You talking too much, but you ain't saying nothing, homie. Making fast money, you ain't got nothing on me. You was born to hate, so you a hating ass, baby. We got that door over here, just at your old later. You moving too slow, we so much faster. Your money too low, we so much higher. Touching the stars, this is where we are. Making that money, making that money. You talking.
Yo, what's good, people? It's your boy Post Up with the close up. I got Mello.
Wow,
I got Noah.
what up?
Wanted to hop on. I know y'all got my perspective of what went down today. So y'all definitely gonna get theirs. As y'all come in, hit the like button, retweet it out. We're gonna have a great show. We're gonna get the rant, get things off our chest, and then we're gonna move along, man. So shout out to everybody that's in the chat that always pull up and support the show whenever we go live. So definitely hit the like button. Let me do my due diligence
and call everybody out, get and give y'all due respect as we do all the time, and then we're gonna get it popping because I did some more reading. I did some more reading on the things that happened today, and we're gonna see. Everybody's saying it's over, but it might not be over. But we'll see. We'll see. So let's do this. Shout out to the real non-stop talent was good. Bria, what's up? Sweet Wolf. All these new what's good? All these I love to see new people in the chat. Yeah, greetings from Chile. Shout out to you, International. Yes, sir. Jeremy Brown was good. Top of the night to you. Web Dave was good. Shout out to you once again. Web Dave show Sunday. When I get the rest of the information, I'm gonna let y'all know Sunday. We go live on Sunday, and then tomorrow I go live with K Asante and Everborn Saga on their show, and then we run a show later in the day. But then because we got some guests coming on tomorrow as well. So shout out to Web Day. Thank you for always supporting the content, brother. We got Slick Slab was good. Merkenstein, what's good? You already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? 108 Dragon, what's good? What's good, brother? Thank you for your support. We got Nix, what's good? Is this MS Battle Cry? Hey, maybe. 108 Dragon say it'll be okay. It definitely is. It's politics right now, and we got to see how this whole thing play out. There's still some wiggle room there, depending on what the EU and China do. And so, and the CMA basically came out there and saying, well, we'll get there. Hey, you fat. Hey, you fat. Yo, that's a funny name. Shout out to Hey, you fat, brother. Okay. Yes, brother Next Gen 720 so kindly showed up to the chat.
To play some games, nigga.
To gloat. Polly Baba was good. Whatever Mike was good. Then let me see here. We got Alan J Gaming. What's good, Alan J? We got Don. Sicario was good. Teddy Payne for me. What's good, Teddy?
Teddy.
Shout out to Gaming Channel with the $2. Always supporting. Let's see here. Let me see here. Let me see. Packer Pal. Packer Pal. What's good, a Packer Pal? How is going, man? Good to see you. Always supporting. Let me see here. Who else we got? Carlos was good. Black Light 100 was good. Day Streams was good. Thriller Ali was good. King Reaper 74G. Rowan 10 was good. Then we got Jeremy Brown was good. Lord Maxie was good. And then we got, who is that? Oracular? A fan 46. It's a lot of new names in the chat, man. Onyx was good. South Star, the true pony, is in the building. You know he finna pull up and getting his pony on. All right, that's it. Everybody that's in the chat, even the ones that haven't responded yet or anything like that, we appreciate you for joining this conversation. Let me do this. Let me go over here. Let me do this real quick. And go
yes, sir. Make sure y'all hit that like button while y'all at it, man. Support the movement.
Then I could close out right here. All right. So Mellow, and Noah, what's good, man? How y'all day been?
Motherfucker, magnificent, boy. FanDuel is kicking, baby.
Oh, you slapping on FanDuel with the
boy, I've been out here. Shameless plug. You know what I'm saying? They ain't sponsoring, but boy, them bets. Shout out to the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Did
the Knicks, did they sweep the Cavs? Where they
won, yeah, they got them up out of there. They go ahead and got them up out of here.
Cavs was gonna do way better than that.
Yeah, they was doing their thing, but at the end they just got out rebounded. They was missing shots. But
with the two big men they got,
bruh. I don't even want to talk about it, man.
All right. I know what's going on with you,
Shaggy,
brother.
Man, that's all I
What's
can
good,
say.
Bro? Been a busy day, man, but I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we're gonna get started, man. You guys heard the news. I want to know when and where, how y'all received the news, and what was your initial reaction when you found out that the CMA decided to block the deal because the concessions that Microsoft offered wasn't sufficient enough.
Code red, nigga, run, bitch, run. Grab the kids. Let's get the hell up out of here. Hop on the boat. Let's go.
Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Hide your wife. It's time to go. When I first heard it, bro, it was orange. I was like, hey, Post, what we doing? We got to get up out of here. We burning the house down. What we doing? But after a little bit of cereal and hearing a little, going back and forth in the morning, I said, oh, man, we ain't worried about this. This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. All right. Small little setback for a major comeback.
Shout out to Mindbender with the $20. He say, hold it down, gang. Love what y'all do. Thanks for the support, brother. Really appreciate it, bro. All right. Noah, what about you?
Man, what was I? I was in the gym. I get up early. I hit the gym. I'm on the elliptical. Yeah. And as I'm on elliptical, I'm looking through YouTube. I forgot all about the whole decision was supposed to be there. I'm thinking it's going to get announced later. Mm-hmm. And my boy Sean goes live. Mm-hmm. Sean 786, right? He goes live. Talk that shit. Mm. And he's like, CMA blocked the deal. I had to check the calendar, bro. Is it April 1st? Is it the 1st of April? April Fools?
Yeah.
It's the 26th.
Yeah.
I said, man, what is Sean talking about?
Mm-hmm.
He ain't blocked the deal. I'm blocking for what? So I gotta go to Twitter and make sure it's legit. So I type in CMA and I see the official Twitter CMA Twitter post.
Mm-hmm.
Why we blocked the Microsoft? Here's a breakdown on why we blocked the Microsoft deal.
Yeah.
It come to find out because of the cloud.
Yeah. The as you look deeper into, I know the whole final thing comes out to like over 400 and some pages.
Yeah, I'm not.
But as you but as people start breaking down, dissect it, copying the most important takes, you realize that they on some bullshit, and the argument is so weak. It got so many holes in it, and not only that though, they contradict themselves from previous statements that they made in the phase 1 and the phase 2 findings. So yeah, man. So how y'all feel about it? How y'all feel about them blocking over a market that doesn't exist, right? A market that is expensive to get into in terms of the infrastructure you would need to compete with a Microsoft, Amazon, or even a Google. How y'all feel about what their decision?
Now here's the thing, right? So they blocked it because of it being anti-competitive in the cloud market. For one, there is no cloud market.
Facts.
For one. For two, Call of Duty you can't even play Call of Duty in the cloud. Nvidia tried and Activision, blocked that. You can't play it on xCloud. When Google Stadia existed, they weren't getting no Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. Like there is no way to play Call of Duty in the cloud. Microsoft had broke a deal with like people we haven't even heard of to get Call of Duty on their service. This deal was going to help the little guy. It was going to help Nvidia and Microsoft and Activision, and they took all of that away. But if anything, because if this deal doesn't close, the one company that could end up with Call of Duty exclusive is PlayStation, PS Now.
You think so?
Hell no.
What's stop? No. But I'm saying, but what's stopping?
I don't. Well, tell us. Explain this to me. Explain this to me.
What is stopping Sony from putting Call of Duty on PS Now? They already got
Activision. Hold on, let me do this. One-Away Dragon with the TV with the $2. CMA are weak asses. Microsoft will win in the end. Laugh out loud. Shout out to you, One-Away Dragon. Thanks for pulling up and supporting the show.
No, I'm saying legally, right?
Legally, yeah.
Legally, Sony could put Call of Duty on PS. They already breaking all type of deals with it. Broken all type of deals with Activision, getting the game exclusive content, exclusive demos. Who's to say they won't lock down a year of Call of Duty on PS Now?
I don't think so, because it'll be expensive. And that's what they was crying to the regulators about how much it will cost. Because even if okay, so say like this deal, and when all this bullshit shit is over, this deal go through, and Microsoft already offered for them to put on Call of Duty on their on the PlayStation Plus, but that's not for free though. It's a cost that you gotta. If Microsoft would have got Activision, you would have had to pay them to cover the cost of that.
They already paying the mark. No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about if the deal doesn't close, right?
Yeah.
They already paying them. Paying the marketing for Call of Duty. Like this whole thing is on the whole basis of the denials is on what ifs, right?
What ifs?
What if Microsoft decides in 10 years not to continue to put Call of Duty on these services?
Mm-hmm.
Well, as it stands now, what's stopping from Sony? Sony's already locking down exclusive deals every which ways in every country. What's stopping Sony from putting Call of Duty on PS Now? You had a situation where we were guaranteed to get Call of Duty on Nvidia, Boogable, whatever that cloud service name is. I don't know. You know the little guy.
Yeah,
right?
the boosters and the booster and all that stuff. Yeah.
Nintendo Switch. But how do you, it's counterintuitive to me.
It is. You're actually you're actually stopping growth. You're stopping the ability for millions of people to get access to COD. And you're saying you want to protect consumers and competition, but you're actually blocking it. And you're doing it while protecting Sony. And I think all of this comes out to them when they initially came out. When we read Sony response that they gave to Brazil, and then CMA came back with their phase 1, we knew that shit was like 1-to-1, pretty much copy and paste. Then you come back in phase 2 and double down, right? You tried to mix up the math, but Microsoft caught you in terms of the LTV. So they made you go back and kind of renege on that. So now you had to get out of the console space because you had no SLC there, right? You really didn't have no win and no fight there, right? So you move over to cloud. And what you do, you take some of the same things that Sony was complaining about in the hardware section, and you're complaining about that now in the cloud section. Sony said Microsoft has the ability to increase prices on COD and all that, and fuck with parity and all that. And now, even though Microsoft told you all day that it wouldn't raise the price of Game Pass, even though they told you that they'll put COD wherever it needs to be, you guys still blocked the deal, saying that Microsoft had the incentive to raise the price of Game Pass after this deal would have went through to cover the cost of the $70 billion they just spent. That don't make no sense.
Yeah.
But
I'm about to say, and on top of that, you just messed up Activision's bag, where a lot of people keep forgetting that Activision was on the verge of breaking up. Like, they had all them rumors and the situation that was going on. That was the reason why they was on the market in the first place. And when you got the developers and the company want to get bought out by Microsoft, and Sony is interfering with a weak ass argument that's causing
Sony,
all this
Google,
friction.
Possibly Amazon and Apple now we're finding out.
Yeah, the remaining of the deal was what, 2 more years, like 2025 or something?
No,
deal with Sony
next year. The marketing
deal
next
for
year.
Sony is next year. That's even worse. So next year, we're out of this contract with you. Of course, we're not putting our stuff on PSN. You crazy?
I think this is all political. I think the CMA had no intentions of passing this deal. And they found, and since Microsoft beat them on the console hardware, and they had nowhere to go, then they used a market that doesn't exist yet, right? And they don't know what this market is going to be in the next 5 or 10 years. They're going off shoulda, woulda, couldas, or maybes. And the reason why myself was so excited and kind of beat my chest a little bit on social media about this deal going through is because the ones who was in the know and staying up to date with what was going on, right? we kind of looked at it like no regulator will block a deal without substantial evidence to back it up, and no regulator will block a deal based on maybes, what might could happen, or possibilities. But the CMA said, "Hold my beer," because
Right.
we're
We got
definitely
something for you.
blocking this deal on what may could happen. We don't know what's going to happen, but because we don't know what we protecting. We don't know what company is going to come into this market. We don't know if there are going to be a lot of companies in this market, given the fact that it's very expensive on the back end in terms of building the infrastructure to compete in this market. But we're gonna block the deal anyway. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna be slick with it, right? We're gonna tell y'all that Microsoft has 60 to 70% of the cloud game market, right? Right. But what we're not gonna tell you is that the reason why we're saying it's 60 to 70% is because we're using the Game Pass monthly active users in revenue to determine that market.
Right.
And they're looking at it wrong. Right? People don't pay for cloud to access Game Pass. You pay for Game Pass and you have an option to use cloud, right? You have an option to use it. So it's not a store. It's not like Microsoft don't use cloud in the same way that Amazon do. Amazon has a service where if you sign up monthly for it, you get access to cloud. Google, before they shut down, if you sign up to their service, you get access to cloud. NVIDIA. Microsoft don't do that. Microsoft say if you sign up to Game Pass, right, then cloud gaming is a option for you within the package you signed up for. They're looking at it wrong, but it's crazy.
I want to throw a little wrench out there though. Do y'all think by any chance you think Apple or Google had played a part in this situation? And the reason why I'm saying that is this. Because y'all know what my stance was prior. I said mobile market is a giant and everyone is trying to get a hold of it. But the monopoly is Google and Apple in the aspect of that.
I think Google played a role. And I think Apple was behind the scene. You might just see them on any court documents or anything like that. But I even think Amazon and Apple and Google gave their stance on that. And recently we found out that, including Sony, there was 4 other redacted companies that was voting for the deal being vetoed. Okay. So I want to show something. I want to show you something.
Hey, before you do that, because I want to get back to my hypotheticals, right? I don't think you understand where I'm coming from, right?
Hold on. Shout out to Game Trailers with the $2 Mellow post up and other guy. What up? Good.
What's up, bro?
Good pasta. Good podcast. All right, go ahead, Noah.
No, I think I'm talking to hypotheticals, but I understand Activision's pissed at Sony right now, whatnot, right? It's not about that. I'm talking about legally, right? CMA is so concerned about one person having one entity having Call of Duty, one platform having Call of Duty and create monopoly, right? Well, now it's time to put something in place to prevent Sony from doing so. You're going out the way. You're attacking Microsoft for doing things Sony's already doing, but there's no type of protection. There's no scrutiny for what's currently going on.
But unfortunately, I can say in Sony's defense, and this is crazy. If it wasn't if the rules wasn't set for this shit, I can do whatever. It's fair game. Now things have changed because once again, this is one of the biggest buyouts ever in gaming. So now, like we said, the flashlights is on this, and now everything is coming out. So whatever I got away with prior to this, tough titty. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's business.
Now it's time to start investigating and looking into what's going on. Or
Yeah,
we
you
just
can
gonna turn up all
investigate and
that?
do all everything that you want. We can money hat left, right, X, Y, and Z. But I can still have an argument to say, hey, even though I did it wrong in the past, it's wrong now. And that's what's going on.
Shout out to Mac City Entertainment with the $2. We got this. CMA was always go do this off the rip. Yeah, and it's not over just because they decided to block doesn't mean that the discussions and the negotiations and the conversation is over. The CMA just came out and said, look, Microsoft remedies that they offered wasn't sufficient. Then we come to find out today that Microsoft tweaked what they offered the CMA versus what they offered the European Commission. So the remedy package that they offered the European Commission versus the CMA was two different packages. So if the CMA coming out saying, look, what you're offering is not sufficient, they didn't close the door on the talks or the negotiations. Microsoft can still, if Microsoft is willing, they could do two things. They could say, look, okay, if this is what you want us to adhere to, we can. Or if they say, look, we want to appeal this. It depends though. And I think it depends on the European Commission and their decision. If the European Commission comes out and block this deal or is in alignment with the CMA, there's no reason to fight it, because you're not going to fight the FTC, the European Commission, and the CMA. All right. But if the European Commission and China come out and approve this deal, then they have some wiggle room. They can go back to the table with the CMA and see what they can do there in terms of rectifying this decision. And then they already stated they're not really concerned about the FTC. And despite the CMA making this decision for their market and their people, that don't mean that a federal judge in the United States is going to look at our market in the U.S. consumers the same way the CMA look at their market and their consumers. So it's still a little wiggle room. It's not over yet. And I know people want to say it's dead, the deal is done, and things like that. No, it is not. Shout out to Mac City Entertainment with the $2. Pony think it's over. And laugh out loud. It's not. They do have a leeway. Only thing I would say outside of that is all of this comes down to the board and the shareholders, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Activision board and shareholders want to say, look, we don't think it's feasible to continue with this, let's just get our $3 billion and ride out, then that's what it's going to be. Microsoft got to look at its board and its shareholders to say, look, do we want to tough this through? Do we feel it's worth it fighting it? And looking at what they stated today, this deal goes beyond just gaming. This deal goes beyond just gaming, and the impact on whether this deal get approved or not is going to impact more than just the gaming market. I've been telling y'all this from the beginning. Shout out to Carlos Alvarado with the $2 post. CMA came up with some Terminator theories. Yes, they did. Let me put this on screen.
What was I know you.
Go ahead. Go do your thing.
Correct me if I'm wrong. See, is it CMA the same? One the guy from the CMA, the same guy that said, "I'm fighting to keep Call of Duty on my PlayStation, on our PlayStation."
Yep. The tone was set. The tone was set from the beginning, and as you can see, if you've been doing your due diligence in terms of reading the analysts and the people who was invested in this deal, they all looking at it like, what the fuck is this? Like, you mean to tell me that you actually, you're impeding innovation? You're doing the opposite of what you're saying. You have a market, right? A cloud market that's nascent, that doesn't exist, right? That you don't know what is going to be, and you wanted to keep it the same because you feel as though if it stays the same, that it will protect any new incomers coming into the market, right? And then you're saying that if Microsoft gives Activision, then they can use Activision content to hinder other players coming into the market, right? And then you also say that if that at some point Activision is going to put their games on cloud. And what have you been listening? Activision told you the only reason why they're supporting subscriptions in cloud is because Microsoft acquiring them. Bobby went on live TV and told you how he felt about subscriptions in cloud. He didn't mess with it, just like the Take-Two guy, the guy that wanted the Take-Two. They both came out in their opposition against subscription service and cloud service. So I don't get it. If Activision came out and said they're against subscriptions and cloud service, and if it was up to them, they wouldn't rock with it. And the only reason they rock with it because if they get acquired by Microsoft support clouds and subscription services. But outside of that, we good.
Hey.
This shit is crazy.
But I thought Microsoft even at the beginning of this, or the beginning of the talk of this, he said we don't have plans of removing Call of Duty from any platform.
They said
so.
That.
With them even saying that before this whole conversation even came about, even applying it into the legal allegations of it, regardless if it was a new cloud service they came aboard or came out the wind and said, hey, we want Call of Duty, they was open for it. So what would be their argument? That's the part I don't get.
It's a lot of contradicting. And then
if I'm openly telling you that this particular IP is available for anyone that comes up, it shouldn't have mattered if it's a new company or old company or a new, cloud or not cloud. You can get Call of Duty if you abide by these terms and conditions, of course.
The whole argument is that the CMA has gone into the future, and they've seen a future where Microsoft was dominating, and nobody had Call of Duty except for Microsoft.
It's back on that Terminator aspect, bro.
Yeah, they're going back to the argument they have in the first place, that they turn around and say, well, Microsoft don't have any intentions of keeping Call of Duty exclusive because of how much money they'll lose. Now they coming back in the cloud. Microsoft is going to take Call of Duty away from cloud.
Cloud too. Why is it's like they regurgitated the same legalities they regurgitated and just moved it to cloud.
And listen to this.
But I thought Call of Duty was failing. I thought Call of Duty was on a decline.
Well, that's what they told me.
When I'm on Twitter, don't nobody play Call of Duty. It's trash. We don't like the maps. They cheating.
But they've been saying that for years, Mello. Mello, that's been everybody always say they're not getting Call of Duty this year. And what's the
and
game
then they go out and buy it. And they go out and buy it. And listen to this. Listen to this. This is what the CMA had in the final findings. In relation to Microsoft expanding into mobile gaming, the chances of Microsoft succeeding seem low in circumstances where the two largest mobile OS, Google's Android and Apple's iOS, either currently prohibit rival mobile gaming app stores or impose strict limits on their ability to monetize content. In any event, there seem to be other less anti-competitive ways through which Microsoft can reasonably attempt to enter this market, such as by licensing mobile gaming content from publishers. Wow. Oh my God. They actually said this.
Exactly.
So what you're saying is we're protecting Sony in the console space, but we also protecting Apple and Google in the mobile space. That's basically what you're saying.
Which literally came out in the Fortnite legal case that it was a monopoly in the mobile market between Google and Apple.
And it goes against your rhetoric. It goes against your rhetoric of the DMA, which is going to put the UK market in a position to force Google and Apple to open up their OS allow side loading, allow other
Third-party
third-party app
applications.
stores.
Yes.
So what are you doing? It doesn't. How on one hand, bro, this is some fuckery. This is some pure 100% unadulterated fuckery. Because some of this shit don't add up. Now, let me do this. Hold on. Let me go back to. Hold on. We're gonna bring it back, right? So we got some analysts that came out and listen to this. All right. Let me do this here. All right. Let me bring that back just a little bit. All right. It said an article on Bloomberg with some analyst opinions. All right. Analysts on Wednesday questioned whether the CMA was making an apple to oranges comparison between the Microsoft Game Pass's cloud offering and those of Amazon, Sony, Nvidia Corp, and others. So I think they're rather misinformed on what cloud gaming market is, said Juice Van Journen. I'm gonna just call him Juiced or Joust. You feel me? Who lectures at New York University Stern Business School. They're conflating cloud gaming with the revenue model. Then they're looking at it as a distinct technology and a market in another sense. For example, the CMA may be overstating the Game Pass role in Microsoft cloud gaming dominance when cloud gaming is just one feature of the service. Thank you. He said, I don't think we can compare the way Microsoft uses cloud gaming to the way Amazon uses it for Luna. He goes on and say, Juice, an associate professor of strategy and entrepreneurship at the University College London School of Management, the market share is driven by the popularity of Game Pass, not the popularity of cloud gaming within gamers. It's an argument that analysts say Microsoft and Activision may invoke when they appeal. Activision on Wednesday called the CMA decision disproportionate, irrational, and inconsistent with the evidence. When I sign up for Game Pass, or when people sign up for Game Pass, they're not signing up for cloud. And you know what I remember? Remember earlier in this when all of the information came out about cloud and how Microsoft had to release information about how they was doing bad in terms of the cloud number, the cloud gaming numbers with xCloud?
Yeah. I ain't got no kickback on that one. You right.
None of this is making sense. You feel me?
It makes sense, but it's the last bullet in the chamber, in my opinion. That's what that is. And unfortunately, due to the people that's in position, they didn't favor Microsoft getting this in the first place. Noah just mentioned one guy talking about we trying to save this for PlayStation, my favorite console. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? When you got them type of people that's in position, this is the last hoorah right now.
Bro,
once this get debunked like it will, it's gonna go through.
System, bro. It's a corrupt system.
Shout out to Game Traders with the $2. The deal going to pass, but this is all. It looked like they created and made up some shit just to block it.
Yeah,
it really sound like that. To contradict yourself, to go against your own policies, like this is you're literally sitting up here saying Apple and y'all can't. Don't even try to mess with them. Don't even try to compete with them.
This actually strengthens Sony's argument because when it comes to cloud gaming, in a sense, it's behind where Microsoft is at. They have little to no real ground with cloud gaming. They're trying to build that now.
Phase 114 with the $2. Is there anything that Xbox can do after this? Phase 114, we're going to get into that. They got a few avenues they can do, and people talking about it's going to take 3 years. That's not necessarily true, because there've been cases where appeals have happened within 5 months or 6 months. But since this is a big case, it will go into 2024. I don't know if it's going to take 3 years, but it at least going to take another year, given how big this case is. But this literally has I'm just when I saw this and then I read the reasons why that they were blocking, I was like, they're not serious. They're not serious. And it looked like, and that the CMA, well, the UK in the EU are no longer together.
That's what I was just gonna say. It looked like they might just be trying to hold face and see what if the EU block, then they know it's just a done deal.
Well, the EU already came out and stated that one, they're not going to be swayed by either side, and that they're going to make a decision
I
based
don't
on
know, post
facts.
how many of
And
them
they
guys got PlayStation? How
and
many?
they, well, the EU also hinted that the CMA was going to go their own direction, and that their views would not align. Vestager, in an interview with Vestager, she spoke about this months ago that the CMA will go their way and their views may not align. Now, if like I said, if the EU comes out and from what we heard that the EU was really working with Microsoft to get some behavior remedies in place. If Microsoft can achieve that and they approve it, then China comes out and we get an improvement there, which has been rumored to be. That means you got Europe and you got China. You're not necessarily worried about the FTC, and you can go back to the table with the CMA, or you could try the appeal process. The appeal process will be a lot longer, but we got to see. We'll see. Rob, who randomly robs everybody, really wanted the deal to go through. I'm so tired of fighting these ponies. Guess it's back to putting my back against the wall and swing. hey,
All your life you had to fight. You hear me?
All my life.
All your life.
All my life I had to fight.
What are you waffling, man?
Yeah, and I do want to do this. Let me do this. My bro, Big Money. Big Money, if you're watching. Yeah, I gotta do it. We had a bet. We had a bet. I gotta honor my bet. I gotta honor the bet. Me and Big Money made a bet.
Hold on, what's the bet first?
So the bet was if the deal went through, he would have to come out on live, and I guess it would be on Z Show, and say that I was right. You know what I'm saying? Say that I was right about everything. And if it got blocked, then I would have to come out and say he was right about everything. So Big Money, my brother.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Wait. Was
Even
it
though
if it got blocked, or was it if it wasn't gonna go through? Because it's still going through. So technically, you ain't lost shit.
Well, technically, I ain't lost the bet yet because it ain't fully out been blocked. Neither company. I could wait.
This deal has not closed.
Right about that
completely. So
it ain't closed completely yet.
Thank you for
Big
visiting us, Big Money.
Big Money
so
trying
you
to put
ain't getting shit on State of Game.
Big Money tried to put me in the spin cycle.
Yeah, he tried to finesse you 2 times. Nah,
Big Money tried to put me in this. I could wait.
The deal is not closed.
Okay, I would say this. Okay, I would say this. Big Money, I see you in the chat, brother. We'll do it like this. Once we get a final determination that Activision and Microsoft has walked away and it's everything is off the table, then I will go live and I will give you your kudos and your credit, my brother.
Yeah, I'm the lawyer.
Hey,
Big Money. You got to speak to me first.
I
got to see all paperwork.
Let's be real though. Let's be real. Big Money is crying inside. Big Money put this front like you're a PlayStation 2, but that's an Xbox guy.
Yeah, Big Money is an Xbox guy. He loves his gaming. He did tell me how much he loved Game Pass.
I see you on Life of Pi, fuck nigga.
Big Money did tell me how much he loved Game Pass. All right. All right, so we're gonna keep it moving, man, because there's been a lot of reports. MLex had and this right here is very important here. Let me read this. It says MLex has a few highlights from the final report. Shout out to IDOS for this because MLex is a paywall. Usually top lawyers and stuff are subscribed to them. And so you have to be a lawyer, I think, and you know what, even to get access to this. From my understanding, I don't know. It says in the response to the remedies working paper, Microsoft said that customers will lose out on the merger's benefit and that a veto would be disproportionate. Microsoft also said that the CMA would be overreaching and cutting across the assessment by other regulators around the globe, which they are doing. Some market players told the CMA they believe vetoing the deal was excessive. Okay, while others said it would be disproportionate if alternative effective remedies were available. Others said they did not see harm to competition in the first place. So you had some for it, you had some against it. Then you had some like, well, let's see if we can come to a workaround. MLEC said that only Sony and an undisclosed third party agreed with vetoing the deal. But the final report notes that 4 other third parties were supporting a block. A fifth said it would be appropriate if a behavior remedy wouldn't work. Thanks to that's the guy who pointed that out over at Reset Error to correct IDOS. Okay. MS argued that prohibiting the merger would be tantamount to lowering the evidentiary bar required to block a transaction because it is in a digital market. Refusing to consider behavior remedies in new digital markets simply because such markets are dynamic or evolving has the same effect, making it harder to obtain merger clearance in digital mergers. This is the impact that I was talking about. This is the issue that I'm talking about, that big tech and other companies that is watching this play out. If Microsoft can succeed here, it's something that should go through, then every other big tech company from Amazon to Google and Sony, it's going to be even harder for them to acquire something in the digital space in the UK market. So the impact of this supersedes the gaming landscape. And I always told y'all from the outset, big tech is watching to see what's going to happen with this. Microsoft believed that prohibiting the deal worldwide would be disproportionate because it will have an impact beyond the UK, arguing that vetoing the deal would not be limited to the UK and will undermine the deal worldwide. And as such, the effect of the CMA's conclusion in relation to a tiny part of the gaming world, which is the cloud game market, will have a grossly disproportionate and extensively extra territorial effect, including denying a non-UK company, Microsoft, the freedom to conduct its business as it wishes outside the UK. Microsoft stated that while UK laws do not preclude the CMA from adopting remedies that may have impacts outside the country, they also do not permit the CMA simply to ignore the extraterritorial consequences of its actions, right? Meaning that its vote, the choices that it makes is going to impact other markets, right? It's going to impede the ability for Microsoft to do business or acquire things in other markets. At least that's my understanding. If somebody hear different, let me know. I don't know everything. Microsoft also told the CMA that the merger had been approved unconditionally in several countries and that the European Commission was engaging extensively with a behavior remedy. By imposing a prohibition remedy, the CMA would, in practice, be cutting across the regulatory assessments and remedial solutions of other regulatories in other jurisdictions, meaning that the impact of your decision here is going to reverberate around the world globally, and it might influence decisions from other regulator bodies or regulatory bodies. What I'm getting, MLEX also says that the veto should alarm tech companies like Broadcom or Amazon, amongst other large tech companies expecting to make an acquisition or in the process. All right, so and basically said, yes, this is totally going to cat. It's obvious that for Microsoft, this goes beyond the ABK acquisition. And this here, and what I'm hearing is that it could have the ability to impede innovations in certain markets, especially the digital market, because they're gonna look at it like this: that if we big tech, if we can't grow and expand through acquisitions and mergers in certain market, if y'all going to prevent us from doing that, then in terms of that market, it's going to impede it. It's going to slow down progress in that market somewhat. At least that's my understanding of it. Y'all got anything to say about this?
Big money. I need to see paperwork related to that deal as we spoke right now prior on this show, sir. This deal is not closed, so you're gonna have to be a sore loser at this moment, sir. Continue.
Well, big money. Man Bender with the $2. Mellow CMA big money. All right.
Absolutely. You would not get my client.
All right, so from my understanding that Microsoft, from reading that, it looks like Microsoft will fight it. Depending on, I still gotta. I want to know if prior to this decision, and I'm pretty sure it was, that soon as because they got the call from the CMA before this shit went public. I knew Microsoft knew before it went public. So at that moment, were they on the phone with their board members in the shareholders?
Nah,
it remind me.
Normally not how it works. When you got like a vote with shares, they normally send out because everybody gets to vote. So they normally send out like a email, your broker send an email to let you vote on. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody gets opportunity to vote when it.
Well, you know, they call me the armchair lawyer, the FTC propagandist. You feel me? Plus, I just watched all 3 seasons of Succession on HBO.
You feel me? Right there.
Succession. You feel me? I know a little bit about corporate. You know what I'm saying, and how they work. I do think the board was up waiting for the decision to come through. Has Microsoft prepared for this?
Oh yeah, Microsoft as a company, yeah, they want, but if it's up to the shareholders, they would have to. That would take time because they would have to allow everybody that owns a share the opportunity to vote on whatever they decide to do. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the shareholders. No, I mean the board.
Yeah, I'm about to say the shareholders just got what we just got. Like they learned the news just like we got off of, unless they was on the inside.
Is this the CMA posturing?
Yeah,
pumping their chests out, saying, "Yeah, we made like Michael Pachter." You said that
they did say that Activision shares was affected by this on the stock market,
and Microsoft shares wasn't. Their share was actually going up. Sony shares went up. I want to know: is this CMA pumping out their chest, saying, "Look, we finna make Microsoft and big tech bow or bend the knee," like Michael Pachter said, so it could send a shot. So in doing so, we send a message to all big tech, and we use Microsoft as an example of that. I do believe this is politically motivated and has nothing to do with the facts, because it seems they are misinformed and have a lack of understanding of the market after reading through 3 million documentations. I just don't get it.
Chill, bro. You already know what this is about. This is about that guy wanting Call of Duty to stay on his PlayStation. That's what it's all about.
Big money. We agree on. We can't agree on this. Big money. It's all politics. It is all politics. Thank you, Big Money. Thank you, brother. Thank you for putting your ponyism to the side and speaking the truth, brother. Thank you. and so,
Rob.
I do think this was an aggressive move over a non-existing market. So it has to be the CMA pumping their chests out and said, look, big tech, y'all got to come see us. And it ain't gonna work the way I want. So we're gonna see how this play out. I'm not conceding yet. I told y'all that I'm with this deal 10 toes down, and I'm gonna see it through the end. I'm gonna see it through the end.
Absolutely.
I've been riding the wave this long. Ain't no need of hopping off the wave. If we got a little hope, if we got a little light of sunshine, if the dough is cracked just a little bit, it could be wiggled open. Let me tell you something. So disrespect me, call me out my name, meme me, and do all that shit y'all doing on Twitter. I am going to ride this deal out until it is no longer on the table, until we get a definitive answer, whether it's a wrap or Microsoft turn a little bit of light into a ray of sunshine. You feel me? We gonna find out. There's still some wiggle room. If the EU comes out and say their assessment is in line with the CMA and they're blocking too, it's over. I will concede. I will take the L. I will tell everybody on Twitter that said the deal was getting blocked that they was right, that they was correct. I'm going to tell Big Money he was right, he was correct, and I should have listened to him, and I will take the L. But until that happens, as long as there is a little light,
we gonna shine.
Some way we can let it shine. This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine.
I will say this, post Mello. These ponies been praying to God that this deal get blocked. If EU comes through and block this deal, then we have our proof that God is a pony.
What?
God is a pony, bro. If they block this deal, they've been praying to the heavens, to the guys above, that this deal get blocked.
Nah, it just shows that they don't want Microsoft to compete. Cause let's be honest, they not getting any news over there. They need this information over there with the ponies because they don't got no video games to play. So at this point, yeah, all this is great, and as long as they hearing negative news coming about Microsoft, they happy at this point in time. Mm-hmm. They still waiting on Spider-Man, bro. Like that's what they waiting on. They waiting on Spider-Man.
I just never seen a community want another platform to do so bad all the time.
Just imagine a company that they claim is in third place is causing this much hell to a company that's supposed to be in first place.
It's crazy, Mello. It's crazy. They wake up and go to sleep thinking Xbox, bro.
Thinking Xbox. You got people like Big Money that he had in his corner and play Xbox. He tried to pretend like he don't play when he do. You got people that go on social media faking like they sold their console when they actually still got it. Come on, bro. All weird, this bro. Over Microsoft. This is a third-party company that's supposed to be at the bottom of the barrel. And this is what, and look at what type of the magnitude of information that they dropping right now. And the sad part is about it, you wishing for this to happen, but y'all don't want the company to compete. But every time I turn around, all y'all saying is, oh, Microsoft needs to compete. Huh?
Yeah, bro, it's weird.
That don't even make sense. I was in the Twitter space. You know me, I'm being nosy. I'm just scooping around. Everybody said the same thing. They said, so what are they going to show? They got to give us games. They got to drop games. No one said nothing about Sony when they just bought that, what's that called? That Firefly company?
Yeah,
they got all the.
That's a small studio. That's not a publisher. That's a small studio.
But it's what they got it's what they got under the hood. You got all those developers from Halo, Call of Duty, Apex Legend, all up under one.
Hey man, I'm gonna say you real quick. Don't do that. Don't go there. Don't go there. That's a small studio. I'm not studios break off and create their own studios. Do that all the time.
I'm not saying that's a big studio. I'm not. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the talent that's behind the studio. Mm-hmm. It's just like the situation where what's that daggone game? Titanfall. Titanfall branched out. They made it. They sat there and made a little experiment game, and we get Apex Legend. Apex Legend blows the fuck up. You got 3 different people that play the Halo, Call of Duty, and Apex Legend under the same umbrella that made a developing team. If you don't think some potential is coming out of that company, you tripping.
But
I'm not saying it's on this level. I'm not saying it's on the scale of
I
Activision right
just said,
now.
don't try to. I'm just saying.
I'm not saying it's on the scale of Activision. I'm just saying on the scale of talent. I'm looking at talent, and that's a good pickup for Sony.
Mm-hmm.
But the point of it saying is, you got them out here scrambling around about Microsoft, and they won't allow them to compete.
They're pretty much protecting. They're pretty much saying that. And someone said this earlier. I forgot where I was reading it. That
Excuse me, dear. Do you have the charges to my laptop?
No, I don't, dear.
Talking about some keep hope alive. I ain't
got
no. It's
let me do
already
this.
there, bro.
Shout out to Rob, who randomly robs everybody with the $2.
Yeah.
Where was the CMA when Disney was buying up everything?
Hey, man.
They let all that shit slide. Now they want to put a hold on big tech. Boy, they let all that shit, like T-Mobile, all that shit, bro. Disney, Fox, all that, bro. They ain't say nothing. And now all of a sudden they want to. Now all of a sudden they want to have a conscience. Oh, you know
that's
what?
too much. Hold on, wait a minute.
You know, we have been
Call of Duty on their PlayStation. They told you what it was.
We have been, kind of walking around here oblivious, acting like we don't know what's going on, and all these big things it's just been buying up and merging and stuff. But you know what? This game and shit, look, man, this shit is crazy.
He said, wait a minute. They spent how much for this company? For one company?
Facts 9 lives. It would have passed. Rashad, how much did Disney pay for Fox? I think it was like, hold on, let me see.
Hold on, I don't think it was that day numbers though. I think they had to break up the Fox thing too, though.
They Disney brought Fox for $52.4 billion.
Yeah.
To merge the two companies.
They're the same ballpark.
It's in the same ballpark.
When you think we hear something about from the EU?
No, matter of fact, hold on. Disney closes $71.3 billion deal for 21st Century Fox assets.
How much?
$71.3 billion.
Damn.
71.3 billion. Nobody said anything.
That is a ticket, boy.
Jesus. And I know Brazil made them divest I think the sports thing in their market. They made them divest. They broke up the sports networks in their market, but yeah. Yep. It's crazy. Yeah. So this is crazy. Some of their arguments is I don't know how they actually went out here with this shit. And I wouldn't blame Microsoft for contesting this, because all this shit is irrational, and I think they might have a case. I'm not saying they will win. I know the cat has if they do win an appeal, they're just gonna send it back to the CMA. And then they pretty much start the process all over again.
I'm be real with you at this point, but I think it all depends if the judge has a PS5 or not. That need to be Microsoft.
I'm about to say it, but this really didn't help Sony in my case, in my point, in my argument. I'm saying because you raise hell with your own companies where all the information you had to leak out on, pretty much they not selling and performing to y'all standards. You literally pissed off the only company that was keeping your lights on, because y'all was using money from Call of Duty to finance other first party games. You didn't piss them off, and then your contract with them just in general is done next year, which means they can just scoot themselves over there to Microsoft and make a deal with them until the CMA situation is done. So you still put yourself in a messed up situation, in my opinion.
They pissed them off, but that's temporary though. Like
It can be,
if
it can be temporary, but nigga, you just dropped the whole bag, bro. We supposed to have been chilling. We supposed to been doing the game as a service, and Call of Duty was gonna be a yearly subscription. We supposed to have been good, and you just messed up our whole entire bag because you didn't have your shit in place for multiplayer games.
And then one of the most important aspects of this is the employees.
Yeah,
the employees. And
you think they gonna feel nice sitting
all
there saying, we gotta play work for these
all
niggas?
That the unions that they're trying to build, the culture
they just destroyed all that.
The culture of sexual harassment, sexual harassment and stuff like that, and
they don't get to unionize if the bill doesn't go through.
Yeah, Microsoft is with the union.
They hold that back because Microsoft was supposed to have been doing that for them.
Activision has pretty much been against union, allowing their developers to unionize. Microsoft is with it. They was going to be able to do it under Microsoft. So the appealing process worked. It goes to the Competition Appeal Tribunal. The grounds for success are very high at the level of judicial review. This means the CMA decision can't just have been wrong. It must have been illegal, irrational, or with breaches of process. So it either has to be illegal, irrational, or with breaches of process. Remember that word irrational because you see Microsoft and Activision use that word today when they was talking about working together to appeal this process. If the appeal is successful, the verdict is not reversed. The case goes back to the CMA to decide again. So all of this is going to start. Yes,
bro.
It appeals.
It
fucks
up themselves. Everything. Yeah. It ain't just what everybody think it is.
but hold on. My thing is okay. So is it they got to convince the CMA to reverse their decision?
Yeah, so they have to go back to the drawing board. If the competition appeal tribunal say, okay, you have expressed the irrationality of the CMA, and they see some of the holes and some of the contradictions in the stuff they were saying, and the tribunal agree with Microsoft, they win the appeal. Then the tribunal is going to send Microsoft back to the CMA, and they're going to have to go at it again to work something out.
So who's the tribunal? Who determines that?
The tribunal is another organization, or they're part of the CMA, but they're above. They're above the CMA board. The CMA is a group of independent advisors that they put together to assess certain situations.
I feel like if you own a PS5, you shouldn't be in part of the CMA. It should be a conflict of interest.
Now, before
I'm joking, but I'm for real though. Like, bro, the man came out and said, "We're gonna keep Call of Duty on our PS5 hour." He said hour, they're not even mine. Hour.
Yeah,
he did. Me and yours alike.
And then he come out. I said that, but I ain't a part of the team that's working with the Microsoft Activision. But that wasn't a good look. You already kind of set the tone of what y'all was on, in the first place, man. So it's wild.
So long story short, if you rooting against this deal, you rooting against people getting paid properly and getting respect at their work environment. That's what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to unionize because they was being treated unfairly. And you niggas out here like, no, block the deal because we don't want Microsoft to have it.
I think it's going to have a negative impact on the cloud market, and it's going to have a negative impact on the tech sector as a whole. Because I think big tech and companies like that who want to grow and expand and innovate and stuff like that, they're going to be cautious about what they purchase and what they buy and things like that. So, It's crazy. This is I'm just flabbergasted, and my only thing is that if Microsoft does this go to an appeal, does Microsoft go back to the CMA? Do they get on the phone with the CMA in the morning after this decision and say, okay, let's work this out. Let's see, in terms of the concessions, let's see if we can do more there to kind of reverse this decision. Or do Microsoft go to the tribunal, fight that appeal, only to be sent back to the CMA? It seems like it's just like the FTC. You go to the FTC, they go to the administrative law judge, right? And the administrative law judge say, okay, you win, but since we're not a federal court, we don't have the ability to file an injunction to outright block the deal. So you'll have to appeal back to the FTC.
And wish for the best.
This shit is crazy.
The same guys that decided they didn't want you to take Call of Duty away from their PlayStation. Yeah, go back to those guys and ask them to see if they'll change their mind. Man, that's crazy, bro. I don't know, man. There's some hope though. If the EU comes through and decides for it and not block it. Well, what does that mean as far as like Microsoft and the FTC posts? If the EU is cool with it. Yo, post. So I'm assuming if the EU, if EU comes through and they cool with it, and I'm hearing talks of like Microsoft, like FU, we're gonna close the deal and sue us, FTC. Then they can put the pressure on the CMA by threatening to not release Call of Duty in the UK unless they come up with a agreement. That's my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. But is that what you got from it, Mello?
What I got from all these niggas freestyling, I don't care no more. Just go ahead and end this mess, and so I can move on, because I didn't even like Call of Duty. I haven't played Call of Duty for real since Black Ops 3. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I knew the mobile. It just shows me that I was so correct about mobile market because of how scared they are about this goddamn mobile market and how much money it generates is ridiculous. But to each his own. Go ahead, Post.
No. I was listening to y'all.
I just want more. I pay for Call of Duty every year. I want the game free and Game Pass, bro.
If y'all was playing games, you wouldn't even be worried about this deal at this point. If you was actually sitting here playing games, that's how I view it.
I haven't pre-ordered Diablo 4 yet because I was hoping the Game Pass deal would close by then. That's where I'm at with it, Mello. Real.
I feel you.
Yeah, but we're gonna see how all this plays out, man. There's a little light at the end of the road, but if the EU comes out and said they're in agreement with the CMA, then I don't think this go to the July 18th final deadline. I think Microsoft cut their losses, and at that point they will only owe Activision a $2.5 billion break fee instead of $3 billion. If it goes beyond July 18th, the final cutoff date. Then it goes to $3 billion.
Oh yeah, and it also confirms too. If this shit don't go through, everybody else ain't safe because the niggas finna go on a buying spree. That mean they still got free money on the market. So,
but I don't know about that now. If this don't go
because
through,
if they cut down the price on how much they were spending, because you got to think. The flags only came up because of the situation that was going on with Activision, and then the amount of money that they was talking about. And again, this deal Microsoft has already mentioned, it isn't about Call of Duty. This is about mobile. So Yeah, if I go into that situation, it's a whole lot of many, as Sony
Well,
just showed you.
in terms
It's
of
a lot of
small
small
studios,
companies out here that's
yeah,
ready to get bought up.
In terms of small studios, I will say yes. But in terms of publishers, I think from here on out, the gaming industry will be hesitant to buy up publishers.
Like y'all messed up that union, but again, that deal was done with Sony next year. So what's stopping them from even going right back to Microsoft after this that is done and dealing with them business wise from that point? So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't change anything. It really doesn't.
But I think this and like I said, this is not just going to put a halt on buying publishers and gaming. This is going to put a halt on or slow down the purchase of big companies period across the board, because big tech probably be hesitant. But hey, what do I know? I'm just giving my opinion based on what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. This is going to have a big impact across the tech sector as a whole, and that's what Microsoft was talking about in their MLEX in those MLEX statements I just read. That it's going to have an adverse effect across the entirety of the tech industry, and like I said, everybody was watching this outcome because this outcome is pivotal for how these companies are going to move over the next 5 10 years. And and I understand that regulators are trying to tie down on big tech because at one point they went on like a spending spree and letting shit pass, but that's not that.
That's
And
not
I
the
think
case no more.
yeah, but that's not big
This
tech.
exposed the hell out of Sony.
If y'all
in my book.
allowed it to happen, then that's it. But I think this comes down to Democrats and Republicans. Democrats want to take on big tech and minimize the impact and the power that they have in the markets and stuff like that. And Republicans are for big tech. That's why during the Trump administration, that's why Disney and all of them was able to make those purchases, because I think the FTC at that time was being led by Republicans, if I'm not mistaken. Democrats are trying to home in big tech. They want to regulate
they
them
see
more.
how lucrative it is, and then they need the sanctions there so they can start getting money off of it.
Go ahead.
So that's why I was saying, in the sense of, even if this deal goes through, they're going to set the rules and the standards from here on out based off this deal. Or if it doesn't go through, which again I doubt that it's not going to go through, but if it doesn't go through, they're going to try to push in more red tape to regulate it for further on. Again, at the end of the day, this is just what I took from it. Sony ain't shit. They're worse than what we thought. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. They're worse off than what we thought, because they literally had to bring out and air dry all they mess, and the multiplayer market is terrible. They have literally let go that multiplayer market and allowed third party to take over to keep their house open. Call of Duty was they goddamn daddy. And all them goddamn so-called God of Wars and Last of Us was not selling to what they wanted. Point blank and period. And they out here, they just got played by Bungie because all they IPs is third party, but they spent billions of dollars just for them to do their cloud service and game as a service. And lastly, you're going to end up still losing Call of Duty, because I don't see them doing another exclusive with them after this deal is done. Not after what just happened. And you expose Final Fantasy as well as being racist bigots. That's why I got out of all this.
Well, you went that. Look, please don't bring up that.
Hey, shout out to Noah. But that's facts is facts. The man said it out his mouth. I'm not trying to bring it up. I'm just saying what I learned out of this whole ordeal. I took something from it.
All right, so this right here is this guy Ben Thompson he got a blog on what's that site? It's called strategery or something, strategery, if I'm not mistaken. And he say, let me be blunt. While there are cases to be made against this acquisition, I think the specific argument used by the CMA is a very poor one. And not just because the agency couldn't be bothered to not seem biased towards Sony in its Twitter graphics at the head of an emoji filled thread that was honestly pretty embarrassing for a government agency making multi-billion-dollar decisions. What makes this narrow definition even dumber is the way in which the CMA ended up at this decision. In February, the CMA provisionally found that Microsoft was likely to harm both the cloud gaming market and the console market. And yes, these two were found to be distinct. The latter determination was bizarre because Sony continues to dominate the console market. PlayStation had 45% of the market in 2022, followed by Nintendo at 28% and Microsoft at 27%, which means the CMA's declaration that Microsoft was likely to stop selling Call of Duty on PlayStation made no sense. In March, the CMA basically said whoops and admitted that it made zero economic sense for Microsoft to not sell Call of Duty on PlayStation, right? The response, though, was to remove the console market from consideration, which they did. They said there was no longer an issue with SLC, substantial lessening of competition. Leave just the cloud gaming market as an aside. This response almost certainly came from Microsoft making its case, which raises the question as to whether the company failed to make its case previously, right?
Mm-hmm.
He goes on to say, again, as I noted above, if cloud gaming is your market definition, meaning if that was Microsoft market definition, then of course this acquisition should be blocked. There is no question that Call of Duty and Activision's other titles are only going to be available for a subscription as part of Microsoft's offering. This market definition, though, is stupid. Call of Duty will, as the CMA admitted in March, still be for sale on an a la carte base as it always has been for PlayStation or Xbox for that matter. And if the acquisition is approved, the Nintendo Switch and NVIDIA GeForce Now streaming service, etc. To say that those four alternatives are not competitive with Xbox Game Pass simply because the business model is different, it's not to affirm competition, but to deny it. So basically, you're saying that since Sony and the other four can't compete with since they can't compete with Microsoft business model, pretty much what they saying, then we're not going to allow this shit to go through at all. Since they said, because Sony already came out and said, Game Pass is not a Game Pass model is not sustainable for them, right? The incredible thing about the CMA decision, though, is that not only does it deny meaningfully new competition to Sony's PlayStation dominance, it very well may cement it. Microsoft is going to appeal this decision. If they fail and pull out of console gaming entirely, the CMA would not have just unwittingly reproduced a PlayStation controller, but ensure Sony is dominant in consoles for a very long time to come.
Facts. They won't even let them compete.
This is fact.
They will not let them compete.
You're protecting, and you've been protecting the market leader since you stated your claim in phase 1. You're protecting the market leader and its business model.
Mm-hmm. Facts. Yep.
That's what you're doing.
And y'all be the same ones in social media asking them to compete, and y'all, and the company y'all rooting for won't allow them to.
Don't want to allow it.
Don't not want to allow it.
You hear it all the time.
Hear it every day.
You hear it all the time. Shout out to Corey.
Shout out to the Brody.
New member. Shout out to the. He's a statesman. He's a statesman. You feel me? Let me get him a mod him up. Let me mod him up. But what you're saying, you hear this all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. It was all day today.
Microsoft is a $2 trillion company. Why they can't compete?
Why they can't compete? Where the games at this show? I gotta see games. I gotta see Perfect Dart and Fable.
How you got all this money and can't compete?
What if they was doing what Sony was doing? They was trying to use that daggone Call of Duty money to fund their first party games. What if that was the case?
You feel
and y'all
me?
just took it away from them.
So Microsoft say, okay, we're gonna compete. This is our way of competing. And Sony like,
no.
Hey, they fucking up our business model. Our battle play.
That ain't fair.
You
can't let them do that.
We eat over here.
They won't Call of Duty.
Look, CMA. If you allow them to acquire Activision, that's going to force us to adapt their business model. We're going to have to.
We're going to have to compete.
We're going to have to compete with their business model. And our business model and the success of our company over the last 20 or 30 years has been through the battle play model. That's how we be.
That's how we keep that money going in.
If you allow them to get act, they gonna fuck that up. They eat them. That's what they saying,
man.
That's what they saying.
And
it's crazy. And it's crazy that you got all these people complaining about consolidation, and then they turn around. Well, if this deal go through, then how Sony gonna respond? They could buy Take-Two, they could buy Square Enix, they could buy Capcom, and they could buy Sega. They should respond like that. I thought consolidation was bad. I thought bad publishers was bad. But the minute that
it's all about who doing it, man. But it's all about who doing it.
Facts. The minute that your market leader, your console of choice, your ecosystem, the minute that you feel threatened, then
cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
All that shit go out the door. All of it go out the door. Now it's okay. If Sony go buy Take-Two, they go back Capcom, Konami, all of them, Sega too. And I don't understand that.
You know why?
I don't understand it. It's crazy.
It's not about competition, Post. It's about removing Call of Duty from that man's PlayStation.
Exactly. We see it. Shout out to Ray Deal. Ray been a member for 1 month. I appreciate y'all. We need more Xbox guys around. Yes, sir. You already know Ray. Shout out to Ray. Ray. Hold on. Shout out to Ray True and the crew. You feel me? If you know, you know. If you Ray True in the crew. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? The Dark Lord Fusion, what's up?
Still in car radio.
Yo, look, I do look, whether this deal go through or not, I always think I'm 10 toes down with it. I'm gonna see it through to the end. Whatever the final outcome will be, the final outcome, whether it succeed or fail. But I do want Microsoft to learn from this in terms of how their competition play.
Oh, in terms of how they played it. Oh, yeah. Feel.
Take
the gloves off, man.
Take the gloves off, brother.
Bro.
All that cool.
I take a Z word. Take the gloves off. Let me tell you something. Bro.
All that what they call feel kumbaya.
Yeah.
All that say it's about gaming. It's about the health of the industry.
They just spit you. They just
Sony don't give a fuck about the health of the industry.
It ain't time to turn no cheeks, bro. That man just spit in your face, bro.
Let me tell you something. Sony don't care about the health of the industry.
They really
Sony
don't
care about their dominance and their bottom line.
Facts.
In how you perceive things with doing things for the betterment of everybody. Sony is not on the same thing.
Yeah.
So look, after this, Take the gloves off.
Yeah.
Take the gloves off.
All that. Oh, you can play it everywhere. Yeah, that shit got to be
You know
over.
what I'm saying? Take the gloves. You're too nice.
If you ain't on Xbox or PC, PlayStation, Xbox Ultimate, we don't fuck with you.
And I'm not saying you don't have to be nice in terms of, playing in the community and stuff like that. I'm talking about YouTube business nice.
Start locking down some of these deals.
Right.
You got over 70, 50, 60, 80 something billion dollars in cash on hand. If this deal don't go through, start getting smaller studios. Build it that way.
Take over everything. EA, Ubisoft, all of them, nigga. I want everybody.
If this don't go through, ain't no need to go for EA. None of them.
Steaks on platter. Yes, it is.
Japan,
I want everybody.
Sega in that market, you can go there. But in terms of U.S. companies, it's gonna be some issues. All I'm saying is, take the gloves off.
Pooh Shiesty ski masses.
Take the gloves off.
Glocks with the switch, with the buttons on it. Everybody can get it, nigga. All headshots.
You're too violent right now, brother.
Oh, that's what I want, man. That's what I want.
You're too violent. But yeah, I would say
I want the real feel. Give me the Breaking Bad feel.
It's that you can play at that game. If you can't get activated, stop. You can buy smaller studios without regulatory
that owe
oversight.
Me money.
This brother Mello is real dangerous right now. This brother got on the ski mask and some black Air Force Ones now.
I won't feel out there with the Nike tracksuit with the ski mask, man. I ain't even gonna hold you. It's up with everybody.
Hey, super thuggery distinctive. This brother got a super thug. This brother out here.
What's her name? Sarah Bond. She the drive by. She the getaway driver. It's up.
But I just want Phil to okay. You know what I'm saying? And do what you need to do, whether that's accumulate a certain amount of studios over the period of time. Because if you can got 70 billion on Activision, you can go back 3, 4, 5 studios all at once. Yeah. Like you just did, a couple of years ago when you did about 6.
I wish they would have got a Tomb Raider and Crystal Dynamics before Embracer Group got them. And I wish Microsoft would have walked over that, man. And then they sold the Tomb Raider.
You can still go to the Embracer company.
Yeah, but they ain't got Tomb Raider no more.
It ain't about it. They don't got the IP, but they got the talent.
See, there you go. CD Projekt Red is up. I'm buying. I'm on the block, bro. I'm slinging.
I just want to see a more aggressive
I'm
Microsoft.
putting niggas in the trunk.
I just want to see a more aggressive Microsoft. All right. Because if Microsoft started getting aggressive in terms of how Sony is with banning up third-party content, then the crowd gonna commence again. Because the only way Microsoft ban all that, the third-party exclusives, because they got the money. If Sony can't compete with Microsoft Pockets, then why y'all telling them to go back take 2?
So y'all gotta really look at it. Like, bro, just literally pay attention to this. We tried to play cool and still do deals and allow the people to get games, and they won't even let you do that.
Yeah. Shout out to Corey Hale with the $20. Much appreciation. Post up in the state of gaming. Thank you, brother, for the support. Salute, brother. Thank everybody. We got 101 people with him, man. Applaud yourself. Hit the like button. Let's get up. Can we get 100 likes? We don't ask for super chats. If you can't give a super chat, give a like. It ain't hard. I said it ain't hard to hit the like button. Oh Lord, y'all hear all this rackets in the background. Hold on.
At this point, we cool, man. We good. We tried to play cool. We tried to play nice. I was with Phil Spencer and his Mr. Rogers approach. It's like, hey, I ain't gotta go out here and be overly aggressive. We in third place, as they call us. Let me just be out here and be cordial. Let me, like I tried to go in that unisex Twitch space. I tried to be in there and track jokes and try to lighten the mood, and I got kicked out. So
before you go into that, gloves off
on these niggas,
Max City Entertainment with the $5. We're not going down without a fight. Pony's mad at first party game. Got fire custom controller, while that racist FF Final Fantasy 16 controller looking like dog shit. My brother Mac, one of the baddest box in the land. I got to get a sound. I got to order me a soundboard because I want to be able to hit. Put some sound effects behind y'all super chats. You feel me? I want to be able to put some sound effects behind y'all super. I'm gonna get a soundboard, man. I'm definitely is. Mac City, thank you, brother. You are one of the most giving brothers in this community. You don't only give at this podcast, you give across multiple podcasts, brother. You support across multiple podcasts. So salute to you, brother. We really appreciate you because your support goes beyond just this podcast, but you support the community as a whole. Even though you are Xbox, brother, you own the Switch and multiple PlayStations. You feel me? So salute to you, brother. We thank you. When you show up in the chat, brother, I'll be happy to salute you, brother. One of the baddest bots in the land. Make sure y'all follow Max City Entertainment.
Baddest bots in the land.
Y'all make sure y'all follow him on Twitter. Ain't no better bot out there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So look, man. Look, at the end of the day, Microsoft need to put the game in a chokehold. You feel me? If you can't do it through this publisher, it is crazy that the timing was perfect, given that Microsoft was acquiring Activision at a time where the European, I think the European in the UK market, if I'm not mistaken, is about to put in effect the DMA, which I think it goes in effect in May. Then they got another regulatory policy that kicks in next year, and that's all to kind of open up the mobile scene in terms of the app stores and things like that. So Microsoft trying to get ahead and acquire Activision prior to all these new policies put in place would have put them in a perfect position to challenge Apple and Google. But the only thing that was bad is the political climate we're in. We got the United States and China possible war situation,
tariff situation,
which might affect the outcome of of their regulatory decision. Right? You also got China, Russia, South Africa, if I'm not South Africa, and a couple of other countries that just formed their own alliance in terms of digital currency and weeding out the U.S.
Canada supposed to be
Canada is a part of the U.S.
and Mexico
alliance against the U.S. dollar. China just announced today that 90% of their currency now in their land is their currency and no longer the U.S. dollar.
Buy some crypto. Better buy that crypto.
19 other countries just came out saying they finna sign up to the deal too. Then you got the UK who is no longer part of the EU, because when the UK was a part of the EU, then this decision would have went through the EU, because I think back then the UK did smaller acquisitions and the EU did the big ones. You got the FTC in their own country trying to make a political statement. You got the UK in their country trying to make a political statement. Since they're standing on their own, they want to show strength. The political climate right now is messed up. And this deal is being affected by this political climate, because not only the FTC, but now the UK and possibly China want to use Microsoft to make an example.
To make an example out of their ass.
To make an example out of their ass and send a message to big tech. China could be sending a message to the United States. United States giving the you got submarines being shipped out to South Korea for the first time in decades. Like what? It is a bad. Who would have thought?
Getting
Who
Call of
would have
Duty.
thought that getting Call of Duty
We'll start World War
would be
III in
this
this
difficult and be this strapped into the political and be this affected by the political climate? This is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah, buddy. This is crazy. It is so much going on right now. And this deal is going to affect the whole landscape, the whole tech landscape, man. So we just got to see how it plays out. Like I said, look, if it goes through, I'm gonna celebrate. I'm gonna pop, lock, and dance. If they find a way to pull this off, I'm gonna call all you bitches. I'm gonna make cases, pull cases on all you bitches. I'm letting you know that. I'm calling everybody out. I done seen Z talk his shit today, talking about Poe saying this and Poe saying that. I done seen Kratos was on the show too, talking about Poe saying it was gonna be completed in May, even though he was lying. Like I millions of people on Twitter in the comments retweet, requote, got images, screenshots, and video of and making fun of me. Boy, if they find a way to pull this off, it's gonna be World War III. Well, let me tell you something. If it don't go through, I'm just going to accept the
We're going to be gone
L.
for a week, y'all. We're going on vacation.
I'm going to accept the L. I'm going to accept the L, and I'm going to go on. I'm going to accept the L.
We don't break. Treyway, nigga.
Y'all ain't going to see me for a minute. I'm going to dip out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go on a staycation or something.
We out.
I'm going to go on a staycation or something. I'm going to duck. I'm going to dive. I'm going to weave. You feel me?
Hey.
But let me tell you something. If they do find a way, and I say this again, if they do find a way, I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
Just be ready.
I'm telling you, I'm going to go in.
Just be motherfucking ready. Count your britches, nigga.
Even though it's a slight chance that they might not pull it off. It's a slight chance they might not pull it off. But it's a slight chance that they will. We just got to see how it plays out. If the EU come through for the people, let me tell you something. If the EU
come through,
you know what I'm saying, come through for the people, right? Which they already stated that their assessment and CMA assessment wasn't going to be aligned. If they come through and get it approved, that door cracked open just a little bit more.
Just a little bit.
That door cracked open just a little bit more. Now, if we do come through, right, bam, the door cracked open a little more. We got the EU out of the way. Now we need to slide over here to China. Now that ease, I know you didn't have a problem with Activision, and y'all at what? I know you're trying to sue Blizzard for $40 million, but let me tell you something. Look, let's work on something. Let's work this out.
Let's see what we can do, man.
China that ease. Let's work this out. Look, if y'all could, get this shit to go through and rock for us, you know what I'm saying? We can figure something out with the net ease and we can bring that shit back to y'all. Ain't no problem. We ain't hurting for money. We got y'all. We got you. Just look out for it. Take care of us. Take care of us. You feel me? Just take care of us. You know what I'm saying? Just do what you do. Take care of us. Figure out so we go hustle. It's enough World of Warcraft and Call of Duty money for everybody. Everybody can eat. You feel me? Everybody can eat. Just trust me. You trying to make 40 million, we can double. You feel me? We can double and triple that 40 million you're trying to sue for. You can get more. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Make this world.
Hey, Microsoft gonna have to slide in China in like that. I'm telling you. You'll say that. You feel me? You good? Huh? They did what? Look, we own them.
What they
look,
do?
Give us the power, and we can take care of you. Huh? What? Let's sit at the table here. What kind of champagne you want? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Let's sit down and let's sit down and eat. You feel me? Let's talk about this over dinner. Look, I ain't mad at you. Look, I ain't got no problem with it. Look, that was them. Look, let us take control of this shit, and we got you. We all eat. You feel me, China?
We all we got.
You know what I'm saying? That's how
we all we got.
You feel me? We all we got out here. You know what I'm saying? That's how Microsoft got to be, bro. And if they could get China, if China approve in the EU approved, then Microsoft can go back to the drawing board with the CMA, right? They might have to do a little bit more than what they wanted to, but I think for the benefit of the deal, give the CMA what they want. Give them what they want.
But what they want is separation of the giving up IPs. I thought that was what they wanted. And that ain't what we trying to do.
Yeah. Hold on.
That's kind of heavy if you want me to give up IPs. Like, we can't do that. You feel me? Just take a little money, man. Take some of this funny money. We can't give you the IPs, though. Because it's crazy, though, because you know what? It goes back to Sony to be, I mean, not Sony, but the mobile market again, because like I said before,
matter of fact, Ray, I seen that. Let me put that up on screen for y'all. Let me put that up on screen for y'all.
You know what would be crazy?
Look,
because every time Microsoft tried to get into the mobile market, some shit happened.
You was on the road, bro.
Let me put this on screen for y'all.
You know what'd be crazy?
Every time they try to get in that mobile market, something happened, bro.
If China blocked the deal, China don't block nothing.
If China blocked the deal, it's a wrap.
But I'm saying
either one. If they can get both of them to approve, then it's a new
China
ball
like
game.
extremely lenient when it comes to like mergers and acquisitions with their own companies. Like in the country, you don't really get too involved with
But the atmosphere is different now, though. That's all.
Don't even do
hit the same.
China, they don't even do copyrights and stuff like that. They got fake PlayStation 5s and fake Xboxes in China. Like they don't care.
And
so for them,
Michael Pachter joins me now.
What's this?
Oh no, here we go. I'm finna play it for y'all.
Leaders have blocked Microsoft's $69 billion deal to buy video game maker Activision Blizzard. In a statement Wednesday, Britain's Competition and Markets Authority said we've prevented Microsoft from purchasing Activision over concerns the deal could damage competition in the cloud gaming market, leading to less innovation and choice for UK gamers. The all-cash deal was set to be the biggest in the history of the tech industry, put together by the maker of Xbox video game consoles. Activision Blizzard has developed many popular games. Even if you haven't played them yourself, you've almost certainly heard about some of them, like World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Candy Crush, and others. And for more, Michael Pachter joins me now. He's managing director at Wedbush Securities, where he covers entertainment software and other tech sectors. Michael, British regulators say they're concerned about the cloud gaming market. Explain to us what that is and why it's so important to this decision.
It's the centerpiece of the decision. It's not really much of a market. So the cloud gaming market consists of services where you can play a game on any device, on any screen, without a dedicated device. So you can play a console game without a console on your TV just by connecting to the internet. And then your television somehow communicates up into the cloud and cloud servers run the game for you. So it's a very inexpensive way for people to get access to premium games without having to spend $500 on a console. It's obviously a better experience than playing a game on your phone. So very similar, though, to the way mobile games work. It's just that the games are much higher definition. You can play them on a TV. The reason I said that it's kind of an odd way to make, for the centerpiece of the decision is that the entire market is about $3 billion a year for cloud gaming, and that's mostly Microsoft. The other big player that makes money is Sony, and not as much. Just to put it in perspective, Netflix is at a run rate of over 30 billion a year. Disney Plus is probably close to 20 billion. So movie and video streaming is probably $100 billion market, and cloud gaming is a $3 billion market. And the UK decided they're so worried about emerging competition in this sector that they're going to protect the British consumer from Microsoft's predatory practices in buying content.
It's no secret European countries have been much more willing to regulate than those in the U.S. What in particular is driving these moves now?
I mean, look, I have to surmise here, but I think this is purely political. And I read the entire, 90 paragraph, it's numbered, opinion today. It's very clear that the UK is trying to send a signal to Microsoft that they can fix this. They didn't say we deny this because we just think that there's an irreparable harm. They said Microsoft didn't offer enough. Here's what they should have offered. And that's a signal to Microsoft that if they come to the table and concede what the UK has asked for, they're going to get their deal done. So I actually expect that to happen. I think it'll be a matter of weeks. The market thinks this is not going to happen, so the stock has gone down. I frankly think that they're going to reach an accommodation. And the accommodation is that either they keep Activision's content off of their own game streaming service, the Microsoft Game Pass service, or they commit that they will make that content available for other services which haven't yet even launched. And keep in mind, Google shuttered their service. Amazon's never quite been able to launch their service. NVIDIA just launched one. So big tech behemoths can't even compete without Activision content, and Microsoft doesn't have it. This is a bad business. I doubt anybody's ever going to compete, but I think Microsoft salvaged this thing in the next several weeks.
Big tech and business leaders will tell you that this is going to discourage innovation. What do you make of that argument?
Oh, it's like saying Netflix, dominating and streaming is going to discourage people from making television shows. And we saw the number of scripted TV shows triple since Netflix started streaming. So no, I think it's exactly the opposite. I think that Microsoft's going to give game creators an opportunity to get their content to far more people. And that means that there's a much greater opportunity for everybody. So no, not there. On the cloud side, maybe, because it's really expensive to compete. And you're talking about a market that's dominated by Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. But those three guys compete pretty regularly against one another. Pricing for cloud services has been going down, not up. So it's been a good thing that there's three big guys slugging it out. It's good for the consumer.
And just circling back to something you said before, I just want to get this right. A lot of people say this deal won't happen. You think at this point they will find some way to make it happen?
Yeah, reading between the lines, the UK offered Microsoft an out, which is to commit that they won't raise price on Game Pass, and Microsoft's going to take that out. It's pretty clear to me that the UK is trying to be the leader here, show that they got Microsoft to bend the knee and make concessions, and then they're going to run a victory lap and wave the flag and say, we protected the consumer. And they're trying to get this done before the EU announces its decision on May 22nd. The FTC has already filed a lawsuit in court. We won't even have a hearing there till August 3rd. So I actually think the CMA caves around May 22nd. The EU follows, and the FTC has no recourse but to concede as well.
So if Microsoft makes this concession, then that's just in Europe, or it affects gamers everywhere, or that will then eventually have to happen in the US?
That's a great question. I actually think Microsoft will make the concession on pricing everywhere. I think a good evidence for this is the price of Windows and the price of Office really hasn't gone up in 30 years. They're just making it up in volume. So, it's not like Microsoft is predatory pricing for the products that they already dominate with. They've got the Netflix model. They want to go from 25 million subscribers to 200 million subscribers. And the incremental subscriber costs them nothing for content. They've already paid for the content. It only costs them content delivery service fees, which is probably $2 or $3 a month. So if they charge $15 and get $2 or $3 a cost, $12 a profit, multiply that times 200 million incremental subscribers. That's a good business.
Michael, thank you very much. Maybe I'll see you on the cloud when I get home. I know my son is there right now. Appreciate your time.
This like I said, this deal is not over. It is not over, and the case is still open on the CMA website. Shout out to who was that? Packer Pal, and you've seen even in the Meta case where the CMA came out with their final dealings, and then after that Meta went back to the CMA. And they hashed things out, and then the CMA updated their site saying, "Hey, we came to an agreement with Meta," and in this case, Meta chose to give the CMA what they wanted, and at that time was for them to divest of Giphy because the CMA initially blocked the deal, and then Meta went back to the table and they divest Giphy. You know what I'm saying? In order to maintain business, and in the UK and all that stuff. So we'll see how this goes. The case is still open. It's not over yet. The only way we will know it's over to me is that either Microsoft or Activision concede, or they both decide to concede, or we get word that Microsoft is going to pay the break fee of $2.5 billion, or if this go beyond July 18th, then we're definitely in for a long haul. We might have another year of this. I know a lot of people is tired of it, but we got to see where it goes. But it's definitely not over. It's not over. So I know a lot of people who say they blocked it, the day is over. Microsoft can't do nothing. No, they still can't.
I was going to say they're doing a victory lap and they ain't even hit the
they can still
hit the final race, bro.
They can still go back to the CMA and negotiate with them, and because the CMA did say, look, they didn't say anything about irreparable harm. They just said about lessening of competition in the cloud space, and that Microsoft didn't do enough in terms of the concessions. So what happens if Microsoft say, you know what, just for the sake of getting this shit done and over with and pushed through, let's give them what they want. And because I think the CMA was concerned about behavior remedies. They don't want behavior remedies that will need regulatory oversight over the next 10 years, right? They want remedies put in place that they don't have to oversee. Meaning, if they don't have to oversee it, mean they don't have to take resources, money, or anything like that to try to regulate those remedies over the next 10 years. So we're going to see how this all plays out. It's still a little like EU. If they get approved by EU, look, let me see. If EU come out and block this, it's going to be
It's going to be a wrap.
Mama, they tricked me. Mama, they tricked me. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad. You feel me? Noah just dropped a link to the Discord. We're definitely trying to get the Discord moving and jumping. So jump in there in the Discord, especially if you're a member. If you are a member of this YouTube channel, okay, yeah, I'm finna tie it up. If you are a member of this YouTube channel, if you are a member of this YouTube channel, please sign up for the Discord. Please come in the Discord. Like I said, when you have those big pay-per-view events like boxing, MMA, UFC, all of that stuff, as a member, you get access to that in our Discord. Just let me know about the fights, and I can make it happen for y'all. Nate Dogg, I'm not saying what Pachter say is gonna happen or not. What he just re-solidified to me was that there's still wiggle room and that this thing is not over. So thank y'all for coming out.
Sidebar, real quick before we roll out. Mm-hmm. Oh, for the Xbox community, go enjoy y'all games. We got the Case of Benedict Fox dropping either in a couple days, and then next week we got Redfall. We got games. That's all we got to say right now. That's all I got to say. We got games.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one, man. We love y'all. We'll probably see y'all tomorrow. Hopefully see y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good one, man. Peace. Thanks for supporting. Make sure y'all hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel. Make sure y'all share this out, man, if you can. Or if you're late, rewatch it and drop a comment. All right, have a good one.
Peace. Coming in, so we up now. When I was broke, they wouldn't touch down. Started from the bottom of the bed, man. Had to get it fast, want no vision.
We was lights out, trying to find a way out. Damn, look where I'm at now. I used to be on rocky grounds, but it's solid now. Homies I used to call friends, they ain't solid now. Situations change, I got problems now. Never worry about the haters, focus on the win. When I was down and out, they weren't focused in. Get a little bread, they all focused in. I chose to look at life through a different lens. And my lady stayed down for it all. Take flight, touchdown, we don't round trip at all. We stay. Fuck up the towns and the malls. Her day for being down for the cause.